Hey, welcome replay viewers. This is LorettaLoveHuff, the Dream Leader for Business. I want to welcome you to the scope today. So I just finished teaching a class at South Mountain Community College. I'm teaching a class on entrepreneurship. Hi there, welcome Beatty, 2200. Thanks. So if you want to like interact with me, it would be really helpful if you put your name in the chat box along with where you're scoping in from. So I was just getting started. LorettaLoveHuff, the Dream Leader for Business. I help people and teams exceed their dreams. I specialize in working with business owners of service-based businesses to help them market themselves better and to land more clients. Hi, Marie Dayton. Thanks. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. So we're just getting started, and I was introducing myself. So I work with service-based business owners to help them market themselves more productively and more effectively so that they end up with the clients that they want and love and who pay them well. And I work with corporate professionals who want to move up the corporate ladder and are frustrated with their progress. And I also help those managers and executives who have moved up the corporate ladder be better leaders so their teams are responsive and people are really treasured and the company's doing really well. So today we're going to be talking about why customers buy from you. So there's several different reasons, and I want you to kind of do an assessment yourself as I'm sharing with you these different aspects of what makes people buy. To welcome, I can't read that. Oh, great, Timon. Welcome. So it'd be great if you put your name in the chat box if you want me to interact with you, so I can, because it'll be easier for me to see. So no obligation, but you're welcome to do that. Anyway, so we're talking about the different aspects of what makes people buy from you. Hi, Trevelyan. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. I always love hearts. So for those of you who are new, you just kind of tap, tap, tap on the screen, and that gives me hearts and tells me that you're resonating with what it is that I'm saying. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 7 specific things that will help people buy from you. And if you're missing these things, then they probably won't be buying from me. So you probably, or from you, you've probably heard the phrase, people do business with people that they, so what would be the end of that sentence? People do business with people that they, three things. So I know it takes a little while to type, so I'll wait for a second here, but yeah, associate with. So that's a good start. Yep, so and it's in the association. They associate with people that they know, people that they like, and people that they trust. So as a business owner, you want to build up that know, like, and trust factor. So you want people to know who you are. So the benefit of people knowing who you are is that if they don't know who you are, what your business is, there's very little chance that they're actually going to do business with you. So they need to know that you exist. So there, and we'll talk about some of the things here. Actually the first aspect has to do with them knowing you. So they need to know you, especially if you're in a service-based business. They need to like you because they're going to be welcome. If you want to put your name in the chat box, you don't have to, but if you want to put your name in so I can call you by name when you interact, that would be great. So they need to know who you are. They need to like you if you're in a service business and you're going to be delivering the service to them. So if they don't like you, they're not going to want to pay money to be around you, even if they like your service. They might do it if they need the service, but if they have a choice, they're going to pick people that they like being around if they have to spend time with them. And then the other one is they know, like, and trust. So they need to trust you. So they need to trust that you're credible, that you're good at what you do, that you're trustworthy, that you do good work. So people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And in order to build that know, like, and trust factor, you have to be visible to them. You have to demonstrate that you're credible, and you need to be able to connect with them in a particular kind of way, particularly if you're in a service business. And by a service business, I mean, a hairstylist, a massage therapist, maybe an auto repair mechanic, but that's a little bit more on the, I'm fixing your car. So even though it is a service, it's not a personal service. So if you're in the personal service business, people want to connect with you. Thanks. Welcome to the scope here. My name is LorettaLoveHuff. I'm a business coach, an executive coach, and a professional speaker. I work with service-based business owners primarily to help them put together targeted marketing strategies that help them gain the clients that they want. And I work with corporate professionals to help them move up the ladder and to, once they get up the ladder, lead their teams more productively. So we're talking about what does it take for people to do business with you? So they need to know who you are. So the first key is awareness. They need to know that you exist. They need to know that your service exists. They need to know that you're out there, because if they don't know, if they can't find you online, or if you're not out networking, then they're not going to do business with you. So awareness is the first thing. So as I go through these, I actually want you to do an assessment. Are you visible in your marketplace? Are you doing the things that would make you even more visible? So being on Periscope, if you're one of the broadcasters, is a great way to be visible. You get to meet a lot of new people, and the people that you know can get to know you even better. So people need to be aware of you. If customers, or if prospects, I'll say, are unaware that you exist, there's kind of next to no chance that they're actually going to be able to do business with you. So awareness is the first criteria, is they know that you're out there and that you're available and that you could actually do the business that they're interested in. Hi, Jane. Welcome. So just went through the first one, so watch the replay so you can get caught up, but you haven't missed very much. So the next thing that they need, or that you need, is to be able to communicate thanks, Jane, I appreciate it. So you need to be able to communicate the features and benefits of what it is you have to offer. And I think the downside for this is that a lot of people focus on the features of what it is that they offer versus the benefits of what they offer. And what has people buy from you generally is not the features of it. So what do I mean by features? So if you were buying a computer, for example, or a laptop, so the features might be the speed of it, the touch screen, the amount of space that's on there. Those are features. The benefits, so what would be the benefits of all those? So the benefits would be you can do things fast. If you download a lot of things, you want a computer that can download things fast so you don't have to sit there and wait if you're impatient. So that's the benefit. So the feature is how fast the processor is. The benefit is you can get things done really quickly. And so I want you to think of, for your business, what would be the feature of something that you offer, and what's the benefit of that? So, for example, I am a business coach, and I work with people primarily over the telephone, sometimes, on Skype if they're out of the country and we want to not have to have really expensive telephone bills. Hi, welcome. So the feature is I do a lot of work over the telephone. The benefit is, and so maybe we talk every week. So we have, 40-minute weekly phone calls. That's a feature. The benefit is every week we're talking about what you've accomplished, what challenges you went into. I can give you advice on how to get unstuck from things. I can give you marketing strategies. So I can help you grow your business. I can give you insights into effective strategies that I know other people have used. I can give you feedback specifically on what you've done and why I think it didn't work. I can celebrate the things that did work. So those are the benefits. They're things that are going to make you feel good about it. Because who really cares about, a phone call every week? Not so much. So when you are trying to sell what you have to offer, you might want to mention the features, but that's not the primary focus. You want to figure out what is it about those features that people will find really attractive and compelling and will pay you for, and talk about those things. So I just gave you some examples. So having, expert advice on marketing, having somebody hold you accountable for making progress. So I know a lot of the times, a lot of what I hear from business owners is that they get all caught up. I was just talking to one of my students here. She said, I try to stay away from social media because it takes so much of my time and I get too easily distracted. I think that happens to a lot of folks. But if you've paid good money for a coach, whether it's me or somebody else, if you paid good money for it and every week you've got to report back on what you said you were going to get done, you're going to find the time and effort to make the progress so that you're not embarrassed when you get on the phone call and you have to say, oh gosh, I didn't get to it again. Right? So that accountability measure is really productive. So I believe that accountability makes magic happen. And then when you're held accountable for making progress on your dreams, it opens the door to a life of purpose and fulfillment and prosperity. So if you've had a job, you know what it is to be accountable because you've got status reports and meetings to go to and reviews that are going to be given to you. So there are accountability measures built in a corporate setting. But if you're a business owner, your customers are holding you accountable for delivering a really great service, but not so much for growing your business. And so you want to have some accountability metrics put in place for your dreams just as much as the service delivery that you're providing. So features and benefits. So the key here is then identify, what it is that you're delivering, but describe it in terms of benefits for the audience. Does that make sense? So if you have any questions, put them in the chat box. I'm happy to answer your questions here. So the next thing is price. People want to know, what an investment is going to cost, but generally, unless you're doing a bargain or a sale, I would not lead with the price. Gosh, I was talking to a new business owner a couple of weeks ago, and he was priding himself on being the lowest cost provider of his particular service. And I thought, when you're new, maybe that's a good strategy, but I don't even recommend that to my clients. So, but he was priding himself, and he said he was getting a lot of work because he was the cheapest that people would call. Like, people would call him, they'd call several other people, and he was always the cheapest, and they always came back to him. Well, that's kind of good, but if he's so cheap, if he's not making sure that he's covering his costs, and included in his costs should be enough salary for him and all of the people in his business, and enough money left over to invest in the business so they can buy new equipment, then that may not be a good long-term strategy. But it is a feature, and you want to position it not just as the thing, but as what's the benefit. So being the low price leader could be a good strategy, but you have to be a really good business manager to make that pay off, or have a lot of customers. And it's still, I don't think it's such a great leader. Now, it's good for like Walmart and whoever is the low-cost leader. I think it's Walmart, but I think there's somebody else who actually says they're the low-cost leader. But again, may not be the best strategy for you because you want to make money. You want to have extra money left over. Thank you, Jane. You want to have money left over. You don't want to just, give it all away and do the very cheapest thing, because that's not going to get you what you really want, I think. So another thing, so price. So do you have a good price point? I was on the phone with actually a couple of people in the last week, and I'm not really a cheap coach, but both people said, but us coaches don't really talk about our coaching rates generally, so you don't always know kind of what the market is. And one of the people that I was talking with yesterday said, you got to double your prices. I'm like, really? Great. So, so I'm working on how to do that. You don't want to be the cheapest person. And again, like I said, I'm not the cheapest person. But how you can justify it if it's awkward for you to say, I want to charge this. I'm not going to say. So I charge, I have investments at a variety of price points. So I have books for $47. I have many of my clients pay, $3,500, $5,000, $7,500. So it kind of depends on how much time you want. But now that's going to change. But I haven't changed it yet. So if you want to talk to me today, you could. Anyway, so you want to be able to communicate the features and benefits. So the benefit of actually charging a higher rate is that people are more committed. Right? They're more invested. They want to make sure that they get their money's worth. So if you think about it, if you have bought something that was really cheap, you may not have used it. How many of you, because I've done it myself, have downloaded things off the internet for a small price and then you forget about them and you never go back to them. But if you pay $5,000 for a coaching program, you're going to use that thing, right? You're going to make sure you get an ROI on that investment. So, some people will be attracted to price. My husband's a price buyer. He looks for the cheapest thing he can get that's a decent enough quality to get the job done. I like bargains, but I'm not a price shopper. I look more for quality. So you would appeal to me on how this thing is going to help me, or how long it's going to last, or how beautiful it's going to look. So we have different criteria, and people do, and you need to understand for your audience what their criteria typically tend to be. Hi, Mandy, welcome. So we're talking about features and benefits as one of the criteria that people use for buying from you. So when you understand your market, and we didn't really talk about that, it's critical that you understand who your ideal clients are and what's really important to them and what it is that they value. Because there is a market for the low price leader. There's definitely a market for that. But there's also a market for, the Neiman Marcuses and the Porsches and the Bentleys of the world. So there are markets everywhere. So there's money to be made in a lot of different price points. You just need to know who your ideal clients are, who you want to work with, and what's really important to them. And then use language that will appeal to them. I was teaching a class last summer to actually a bunch of high school students who were thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. And one of them was talking about, I think it was special tires. And he didn't think that you really needed to have, a clear picture of your ideal client. And I said, well, imagine that you're selling tires to, a guy who's 64. Are the same things going to be important to him as, we're talking now the custom wheels inside, not the actual rubber tire so much. But so are the same things going to be important to him as a 22-year-old who's got his first hot rod? So they're probably going to have different priorities, and you just need to understand your ideal clients and what's really important to them, and then use language that will appeal to them. That will make people buy. If you understand their concerns, their hopes, their dreams, and you can position your whatever you're selling in terms that are important to them, they'll be more likely to buy from you. So I'm not recommending that you misrepresent what you do, but that you highlight certain features and talk about the benefits of those that you think would be important to the people who could possibly buy from you. So the next thing is brand. So this is, and a brand is not just your logo. A brand is how you come across to the marketplace. What does your company represent when people think of you and your company? What words would they use to describe you? So are you high quality? Hi, Mitch, welcome. So are you a high quality, kind of Neiman Marcus provider, or are you the low cost leader? Are you really great? You look like a celery stick? Really? I'm red. How can I be a celery stick? I don't quite get that. So are you the, high priced, or are you the low price? Or are you somewhere in between? Are you going after, people who are kind of rebellious in nature? Thank you. Are you going after people who are very traditional? Are you going after people who are very status conscious? Who are you going after? And what's your brand? So if you're going after people who are very status conscious, but you're not cute, to use your words, or you're not looking like a high quality person, then they're not going to trust you. Something's going to be incongruent about that. I remember going to a sales training event several years ago. And I had on a jacket and maybe even this necklace because it's one of my favorites. So I had on a jacket and I looked nice, because it was at a nice hotel in Central Phoenix. And I was sitting there next to a business owner, I forget what his business was, and we were introducing ourselves at the table. And I told him I was a business coach. And he said, wow, he said, you actually look like somebody that I might hire. He said, a lot of the business coaches that I know don't look professional enough. Now, that surprised me because I think most of the coaches that I hang out with, do look professional. But in his opinion, I looked, particularly credible, and he therefore trusted me more. So your brand is how you come across. It's not necessarily what you think it is. It's how people perceive you. And if you are, particularly if you're going after high net worth individuals, you need to look a particular kind of way. Unless you're going after like high net worth individuals who are like rebels, on the side, so maybe they wouldn't care so much. But generally speaking, people that have a lot of money to invest want to invest in really special things, and they want it to look really good, and they want it to be really good quality. So what is your brand? And as I talk about these, are there things that you could do to improve that? Hi, Mitch, welcome. What could you do to improve the image of you and your company in the market that you serve? I've gotten addicted to, you love economy? You love so what do you love about the economy class? That it's good pricing or what? Tell me about that. So economy is good. Like I said, there's a huge market there, tons of dollar stores on just, not every corner, but dollar stores all around Phoenix for sure, and I think they're becoming popular in a lot of cities. I even shop at them, because there's some things you can buy really cheaply there that don't have to be high quality, long term things. Very interesting to learn how our world goes around. Yeah, it's when I first connected with my husband, I was living in California, and he was looking for like dollar stores out there. And in the Silicon Valley back then, it's probably changed now, but 12 years ago, there weren't any dollar stores there. There was a Big Lots, and I hardly went in it because it was so disheveled. I just didn't feel good about going there. So I have a different attitude now, and there are dollar stores here everywhere, and they're selling a lot of brand name things really inexpensively. So point is, know your brand, know your audience, and make sure that they're congruent, that your brand represents the qualities that your ideal clients are seeking, because if it doesn't, they won't buy from you. And that's the whole point of the scope. Why do people buy from you? So they buy from you because you're able to communicate benefits to them that are important to them, not what you think is important, but what's important to them. That might mean you need to survey. People as to what it is that they want. So you need to understand the features and benefits. How do you describe the thing, and how do you communicate the benefits of that in, again, terms that are important to them? What's your price point? Some people won't buy things that are cheap. Okay, that's enough of that. So some people won't buy things that are cheap. Some people only buy things that are cheap. You need to know what your audience is. What can you do to improve your brand and your perception of yourself and your company in the marketplace? Convenience is another thing. So people want, hi, Troy, I can't quite recognize that. So if you want to put your name in the chat box, I can introduce you by name. So people want convenience oftentimes. I was just talking to someone last night. Actually, it was this morning. So I was talking to a woman this morning who wanted to provide a service for women and said that she grew up on a military base where everything was convenient. I mean, everything that you could possibly want was on the military base. The schools, the stores, the hairstylists, the barbershops, everything was right there because they didn't want people to have to go off the base. So convenience can be a reason. It may not be the determining reason, but if convenience is an important thing to the people who are buying from you, they'll be more likely to buy it if it's easy to get. So, can you make it a fast, easy download if it's a product? Do you deliver things to them? Amazon's got now lockers all around town, and some things you can order today and have it today. That's cool. That's very convenient. So how can you make your delivery of service or product more convenient to people? What could you do? What could you do to appeal more closely to the needs and desires of your target market? How could you become more aware? What marketing strategies could you implement that would get you in front of more of the right people who are interested and actually looking for what it is that you have to offer? So word of mouth is another strategy. You can get referrals from people. I was emailing somebody back and forth today about a speaking gig that's coming up. And we met actually at a speaking gig that I did about a year and a half ago. So referrals are a great way. When you've got happy customers and they are willing to introduce you to other people, that so much reduces the aggravation of the sales process. Because think about it. When you've gotten a recommendation from someone else about a provider or something, and you trusted that person's judgment, it made it a pretty easy sale because it took out all the research that you had to do, right? If you trust the person who made the recommendation, you're probably going to trust the person that they've used already. Now, if you can get more people making introductions and recommending you, imagine what that'll do for your business. So if you're able to have more word-of-mouth marketing that's happening behind the scenes when you're not even there, and in reality, word-of-mouth marketing is almost better than marketing that you're doing, because if you're marketing yourself, it's a little self-promotional and people listen to it, through jaded ears. But if somebody that they trust tells them that you're a great provider of X, Y, and Z, they're likely to believe that person and take their word for it. And so that can help. So what can you do to get more people talking about the goodness that you provide and why other people should do business with you? And then the other thing is, an affiliation. So what do you have in common with people? Do you have similar values? Sometimes I do workshops, and I have people share with the people that they're sitting near what it is they value. And almost every time people say they feel so much closer to people that maybe even are strangers to them, or maybe they're colleagues and they've just never talked about values. So how can you build that sense of affiliation and sameness, not sameness, but community and in common values and similar aspirations. So when people are around people that they know, like, and trust, they feel better, they trust more, they actually want to do more work. Hi, welcome to the scope. So I'm just kind of wrapping up on the 6 things. I'll do a quick recap, but watch the replay if you want to get caught up. So we're talking about why customers buy from you, and there were 6 reasons that I talked about. So the first one is that they're aware that you exist. So if they don't know that you're there, they can't do business with you. The second one is understanding the features and benefits of what you have to offer and how they relate to the needs of the people that you're selling to. So if you are, whatever you're selling, the features of something are the facts, the what of it, the speed of the computer, the number of coaching calls, the length of the speaking gig, the number of MP3 recordings that you're going to get. Those are features. The benefits are, as an example, you will learn how to identify your ideal client so that you can raise your rates and charge more, and people will be happy to pay you. Or you'll be able to do this in the convenience of your home without driving any place. If it's a self-study program, you can do it right at your home whenever it's convenient for it. That's a benefit. So you want to know, communicate what your product does or what your service does, and what's a benefit of that to the person who's receiving it. Because it's not just about the features, it's about the benefits. So price is often a determining factor. Some people only will buy expensive items. Some people only buy cheap items. Welcome to the scope. So if you want to, and I actually want you to kind of assess yourself as I'm doing this quick review, what could I be doing to improve the way I describe the features of thank you so much for sharing the broadcast. I really appreciate that. What could you do to improve how you describe your price? Or what could you do to improve the price point that you're offering things? Could you, thank you for the hearts too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, can you have things at different price points? That's one of the things I talked about, I think, at the beginning of the scope. So I have a variety of options depending on somebody's budget, how much time they want specifically with me versus, I got a really small budget and I want to learn something, so get me started with a self-study program. So what could you do in your business to have a variety of, thank you for inviting your followers, I appreciate that. What could you do to have offers that are meaningful to people at different price points? Because price is one of the things that people use to buy. Thank you for the heart. Appreciate that. So what is your brand? Are there things you could do to improve your brand? Do you need to refresh your brand? I've gotten addicted to Bar Rescue. I love that show. So welcome to the scope here. So I love Bar Rescue. I don't know if you guys have ever watched. Is anybody here watching Bar Rescue? So let's put a yes in the chat box if you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So if you like Bar Rescue, say, yes, I've seen it. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll tell you. So it's this really genius business consultant who goes into restaurants and bars that are failing, and he figures out pretty quickly what's going wrong, and he fixes it. And he makes the owners fire people. Sometimes he actually gets the owners out of the business if they're really passive and there's a manager there who's more active. So he really diagnoses the problem. He then kind of revamps the whole thing. He tears it out. He decorates everything. He does, I'm sure he gets like a return. I don't know how they price it, but he does a lot of work. And one of the things that he said is that you need to refresh your brand every few years, every 3 years. And if you have a facility, you need to redo. Thank you so much. Well, watch the replay. Come back and follow me so you get notices. Thanks, Jane. So make sure that your revamping your brand, offering something new periodically or some new twist on what it is you have been offering. And if you have a physical location, then you want to refresh it, redecorate, paint it, put some new murals up, change the artwork, do something so that it feels fresh and people aren't tired of, watching what it is that you have. So refresh your brand, and convenience is another buying point. So if you make it really hard for people to do business with you, you're going to lose out on some sales. So you want it to be easy for people to find you. You want it to be easy for people to buy from you. You want it to be easy to do work with you. So what could you do to make it easier for people to find you? Hi, welcome, welcome. What could you do to make it easier for people to find you, easier to people to buy from you, and easier for people to work with you? So I think one of the best things that I did was, and this was a number of years ago, I started accepting credit cards. So I had to apply for it and go through the kind of rigmarole there, and you have to pay a fee for it. But it made it so much easier. So when I'm on the telephone, when somebody decides that they want to work with me, they give me their credit card, I process the order kind of right there. So really simple. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to do anything. I make it simple to do business with me. I deliver them emails, and I have a number of things kind of automated so that I don't have to personally do everything myself, but they get customized emails based on their preferences and their wants. What can you do to make it easier for people to do business with you? Hi, welcome. So as I'm asking these questions, I want you to be thinking about it, and if you're willing to put something in the chat box, then do that. So I'm just doing a recap and just about to end the scope, but I appreciate you dropping in, and if it sounds useful, share this with your followers or on Twitter or on Periscope. So what can you do to make it easier to do business with you? Because that's what makes people buy from you. If they have to jump through too many hoops, they're going to find another provider that's easier to do business with. Think about it yourself. If you've had to work too hard to give somebody money, haven't you complained about that? I had to work too hard to do this. I want it to be easy. I'm trying to give you money. I want it to be easy to do business with you. So what can you do to make your business easier to do business with? So word of mouth. People love not having to vet suppliers on their own. Welcome, Robert. Appreciate you being here. So what could you do to get more people chatting you up in their communities so that they make referrals and make introductions so that people come to you already pre-sold? So when you get a referral, think about it. If you've gotten referrals, hasn't it been easier to close them, to actually have them become customers or clients of yours? Because they trusted the person who said, if you want, a great carpet cleaner, use this company. They were fabulous. They have, reasonable prices, and the, carpet, all the stains were gone. So rather than go to the yellow pages and have to look up somebody and take a chance on getting somebody that's really good, you really want to build up fans who will do that work for you. Because when you get referrals, they close faster. This is why I love referrals. They close faster. You can close bigger deals. You don't have to go through all of the proving who you are. So what can you do to build up more of a fan base and have them send business to you? And then how can you better connect with your prospects? So it requires that you know who your ideal clients are, that you understand what's really important to them, that you know what their dreams are, what their hopes are, what they cherish in life, what they're afraid of, what they're concerned about, what keeps them awake at night. And the more you can get into the hearts and minds of the people that you want to serve, the better you'll be able to tailor the things that you're saying to them so that they're meaningful, so that they resonate with you, so that they want to work with you because they feel like they're understood. So those are the 6 things. If you missed them, because I know a number of you just joined, I'm just about to wrap up. So let me see if you have any questions. I'll sit here for a little bit, and if you have a question, type it in the chat box and I'll respond to it. Otherwise, check out the replay if you just got here. You can get all caught up on the 6 reasons why people buy and the questions that I asked that would have you make some modifications to your business so that more people buy from you. So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box right now. You can connect with me on Twitter or at my website, which is emeraldharvest.com. Emerald like the gemstone, harvest like the fall event.com. This is LorettaLoveHuff, and I'm going to sign off right now. Thanks so much for being here. Take care. Thanks for the hearts.